Hello, man. I want to share something with you today, man, that's really quite special, really quite meaningful. And that is, dude, you actually can outgrow all of your addictions. Everything, you know? For a long time, man, and I've made it really clear on this channel, for me, an addiction I had for ages, just fucking years, was pornography. I always thought it would be there. You know, I just couldn't imagine a future without it because I just thought it's just too nice. It's just too addictive. It's just too pleasurable to give up. You know, I thought, what about the critical moments when I can't get through them? What about when I can't pass those tricky, challenging critical moments? You know? Well, what I'm seeing is possible these days with enough work and commitment is actually, brother, genuinely, you can. Not just with PMO, because as you know, in my own case, I've had to let go of that for a while now. I'm talking more about just the addictions that you have that you just don't want to have anymore. You know, the stuff that is there, that you're like, no, I don't want to do that. You know when you do it, and afterwards, I call it like this contemplation window. Not something that you kind of stand by and look at. No, man, like that kind of time window. A period of time where you do the thing and then you're like, man, like, just before I did the thing, that was the best I felt. Now I feel shit because I gave into the thing. Really, man, what I'm talking about is just all of the other addictions that you have that you just don't want to have anymore. In other words, the stuff that you do that you don't really want to do. For me, the way that I discovered what I do want to do and what I don't want to do is just by feeling into my state of consciousness. So for me, in my own path, I saw that my addictions, they were mostly centered around like food or maybe like entertainment. It's like Netflix and stuff like that. But then I decided to do things, little tests, little experiments, little moments where I was like, you know what, I do have the strength to put that down or to not use that and to instead do something else. And when I say something else, man, I'm always talking about something of a higher consciousness. So for example, man, in the past year or two, what I've been doing, and you won't hear too many people talking about this, man, but instead of using Netflix at night, I meditate, I contemplate, I sit with myself, I read a book. This is my favorite thing to do right now, man. I love it. You know why, brother? Because I feel myself. And I can feel reality. I can feel consciousness, dude. Oh, you know. And the real reason why I started to do that instead is because I just found that I just feel better. In other words, over time, dude, you will start to prefer the higher reward. Also, man, I want to share this with you. For me, I know how my mind works. Let me explain what I mean by that. Knowing like my addict mind, my addict self, the part of me that's like very addicted to things, I'm in touch with that, brother. And I know what it's like when I'm in an addiction. Primarily, man, for me, I'll be thinking ahead. I'm a planner, you see. I want to like look forward to it. You know, whatever the thing is, like I want to plan and be like, oh yeah, I'm going to make it nice. With not being addicted to anything anymore, I've noticed that I don't spend any time doing that anymore. And you know what's so powerful about that? When you stop planning for the future and preparing for a high that you're going to experience, it actually liberates you to enjoy the moment now so much deeper, so much more. And it gets you to realize, you know, the more advanced version of me literally is happy now and can derive satisfaction from this moment. You become someone who actually emotionally wants to choose something different. This is really the crux of why you overcome all of your addictions. Because you see that it's not the thing itself, is it, man? It's really not. It's your thinking about it, it's your attachment to it, it's your relationship to it. So when you change, when you go through a lot of transformation, you do a ton of work on yourself, and you realize, oh no, I can be my own person and I can live consciously. Now, like the thing, the drug, the food, whatever, it doesn't have power over you. Because you're choosing for yourself, right? You're thinking for yourself finally, clearly. And you're realizing like, I know what I really value here. It's not the high. It's the freedom. You will start to be free. And it's a bit trippy, this, man. But when you start to become free, you become someone who isn't having the same thoughts. So this is like, I'm trying to communicate to you, but in a different paradigm, with a different experience. And by definition, that's kind of hard to tap into because you've got to be experiencing it to really get it. So that's why I'm pointing this out, yeah? But notice, when you are free, you don't want to go back. You've got it. You've got it. You're independent. And you're free. And you'll feel this feeling that you've maybe never felt in your entire life. And it feels like, man, I can finally choose my life without being burdened by addiction. I can finally make my own personal, original decisions without being seriously influenced by something that you're addicted to. And you realize what you value more than anything is this freedom. And naturally, you realize it's something very spiritual. And what you do is you feel it. You feel it and you feel it and you feel it until you become it. You look around, you're like, oh my God, like I am this way. This is now who I am. Dude, I really changed myself. That's what you say to yourself, man. And you didn't think you could do this. You didn't think it was possible. Because you spent your whole life living in this paradigm where you just are addicted to things. And that's just the norm. But then you break free from that. You start feeling what it feels to be free. You start preferring that emotionally. Because if you don't prefer it, if you prefer the old stuff, the addiction, the highs and the lows, you'll do that. So you've got to get to a point where you emotionally prefer the freedom and the peace and the higher consciousness experiences that you get because of a disciplined life and because of a spiritual way of being. You see, not being addicted to things naturally takes you to a spiritual place. By spiritual, I mean, realistically, man, you're smart enough to know what I mean by that if you watch this channel. But if you want me to clarify, I mean spiritual in the true sense of the word. So I mean relating to consciousness. No ideas, just you being more conscious and directly aware of what's true and being one with reality. That's what I mean by spiritual. Because you're now this person who isn't really addicted, or not really, who isn't addicted, you'll notice that reality and life, both your experience and also your story within that experience, is naturally spiritual. And therefore, you just naturally derive satisfaction because you are just naturally more one with reality. There's less bullshit. There's less noise. You're just with yourself. And it's clear. And finally, man, if there was just one thing to take from this video, honestly, man, I just want you to know it's possible. And if you're really like hearing me, you'll be excited, man. You'll be so excited because you're like, man, like no matter how shit things are now, you know deep down, it's possible. There's like light at the end of the tunnel, and you can purify and cleanse your life, everything that you experience, man. You can. And you know what? You will. It's not enough to say, I hope it will happen or whatever. No, fuck that, man. Just declare it and create it into existence by speaking it and by being it. You do that by commitment. You know, my friend, I really hope that this helps you see that you can overcome literally everything you're addicted to. And you can set yourself free in a way that you never thought you could. It leaves you feeling just so complete and so awesome. All right, man. Final thing from me is, if you would like any support from me personally, one-to-one, I do offer coaching and mentoring. If you'd like that, my friend, you can see the link in the description. Otherwise, my friend, lots of love, take care, and as always, man, peace.